Shalom everyone. So as some of you may be actually aware, I was on the panel yesterday for the live fellowship for Shabbat, and near the end I was asked a few questions which I kind of answered. Some of the questions were: is Islam a radical religion? Is the theology of ISIS different to the theology of an average Muslim? And does it say in the Quran that Christians and Jews will be killed only, or does it say everyone who doesn't believe in Allah? Now, as I said, I kind of briefly answered that. However, the question that followed, which was why not all the other unbelievers of Islam, I responded with, I couldn't say at this point. Now, I'm laughing at it now because I watched back the fellowship last night and I'm thinking, such a simple question, and I could have given a simple answer. Excuse me, but I think the going live kind of made me a little bit nervous that I just went blank, and I know the answer, and I knew the answer back then, but now I'm thinking, wow, and I will definitely do much better next time live. But you know, I also was laughing because I'm thinking, Laura, you were on the debate team in high school, you know, you're great at debating. I'm amazing at debating, I love it, and I wasn't even nervous back then, you know, in high school to speak in front of people, and here I am, like, I just went a little nervous. But yeah, like I said, I will definitely do much better next time. But I thought, you know, I kind of wanted to do this video just to reiterate, you know, what was said, you know, about, you know, radical and moderate Muslims and the theology and Islam. I didn't really, or I'm not going to really include the many violent verses in this video, just because in my second video, I think it's called What Exactly Led Me Out of Islam, that whole video I sort of referenced majority of the violent verses in the Quran. I am thinking maybe a video following this one day, I will go into a bit more detail into all of the violent verses, not just in the Quran but in the Hadith as well, that talk about the killing of Christians and Jews and all unbelievers, you know, idolaters, polytheists, pagans, all infidels pretty much. But you know, in this video, like I said, I just wanted to reiterate and talk a bit more about, you know, radical Islam or radical Muslims and moderate Muslims and some, you know, some of their beliefs. Now, Erdogan, there was a quote of him that I saw years back, and he kind of put it just very bluntly, and the quote stated, "The term moderate Islam is ugly and offensive. There is no moderate Islam. Islam is Islam." And I agree. There is pretty much just, you know, Islam, you know, the Islam of Allah and Muhammad. And, you know, some moderate Muslims would say that, you know, Islam doesn't, or should I say, yeah, it doesn't support the killing of innocent people. You know, Allah doesn't advocate for killing, that, you know, Islam means peace and Islam means tolerance, but nothing could be further from the truth. It's just not right. And moderate Muslims would usually use a verse, which I'm going to read, that pretty much says, you know, whoever kills an innocent person, it's as if, you know, he killed all of humanity. However, that verse obviously is in the Quran, but it's actually written to the children of Israel. It is not written for the Muslims. However, the verse following that one is to the Muslims, and it does talk about killings and crucifixions. And so I wanted to read those couple of verses. So they are from Surah 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, verses 32 and 33. So verse 32 says, "Because of that we ordained for the children of Israel that if anyone killed a person not in retaliation of murder or to spread mischief in the land, it it would be as if he killed all mankind, and if anyone saved a life, it would be as if he saved the life of all mankind. And indeed, there came to them, our messengers, with clear proofs, evidences, and signs. Even then, after that, many of them continued to exceed the limits, by doing, oppression unjustly or committing major sins, in the land. And so Muslims would use this and say, well, see, Allah doesn't support killings, he doesn't advocate killings. It's like, oh, Allah's telling us that, if we kill one person, it's as if we killed all of humanity. But the next verse is to the Muslims, like I said, and it says, the recompense of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and do mischief in the land is only that they shall be killed or crucified, or their hands and their feet be cut off from opposite sides, or be exiled from the land. That is their disgrace in this world, and a great torment is theirs in the hereafter. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. If anyone needs clarification, I can do it in the next video. But yeah, and now so radical Muslims, to me, like I say, are the true Muslims, as I always keep saying. They are following the Quran to the letter. They are literally being obedient to Allah. They think that what they are doing is jihad, holy war. And they believe that the killing of unbelievers is an obligation. It's mandatory for every Muslim. Now, moderate Muslims would disagree strongly with that. But according to the Quran itself, those moderate, peaceful Muslims who aren't taking part in jihad are actually hypocrites. And, if they don't join in jihad when the time comes, they too will be killed by the radical Muslims. Now, Muslims are actually required to infiltrate, how do I put this, infidel land. And, so like, for example, Australia, America, England, as Muslims do, and they're required to convert or, attempt to convert people to Islam. Or should I say infidels to Islam. They're also required to, procreate and, sort of increase in number. And when they increase in number, they are then, it sort of becomes their time, once they increase in number, to fight and kill. And really impose the religion of Islam in the land. And kill those people who actually don't agree or don't convert or don't accept Islam as a religion. Now, I know so many people who actually always wonder and always ask, well, how come all these Muslims come to, Australia, America, England, wherever? They come for a better life. They come for, security, shelter, financial help. And then, instead of being grateful, they want to change everything. They hate Australian way of life. They, hate American way of life. They want to, bring in Sharia law. They want to, all these things. And I always say, and I still stick by it, I used to say, well, go back to where you came from. Why did you come here if you're just gonna, if you want to bring in Sharia law, then why don't you just go back to, where you came from, where Sharia law was actually imposed? But no, you came here for a better life, apparently. But, they come here and infiltrate. And they're required to, for their own agenda, for their end goal, and that is to make Sharia the law of the land to, that was pretty self-explanatory, to, make Sharia the law of the land. And so when it does come time for it, you know, and if you don't embrace Islam, whether you're, you know, pagan, Christian, Jew, infidel in general, an unbeliever, you unfortunately will be killed. And it says in the Quran that Allah is an enemy of the unbelievers. So if you don't convert, if you don't accept Islam, well, we know our fates. But it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, I just sort of wanted to go through my notes there. Like I said, I do, and I'm going to do a in-depth look into all the verses that do talk about killing and beheading and chopping off of hands and feet. I'm going to go into the hadith as well, look into the sayings of Muhammad as well and what he prescribed and all the rest. But I just thought I'd kind of leave it at that and say that, you know, Islam is Islam. It's supposed to be Islam. It's supposed to be, you know, everyone following the same thing. Unfortunately or fortunately, you know, the moderate peaceful Muslims aren't taking it quite literally. For now, perhaps. But, you know, as I said even yesterday, you know, on the panel, and I've always said it, radical Muslims are the true Muslims. You know, they are following Islam how it's supposed to, or how they're supposed to, sorry, because, you know, it is an obligation to wage jihad on the unbelievers until, you know, they submit and accept. And if not, then, yep, we know what happens. So I'll just leave it at that. I just want to do a quick video. And until next time, thank you all for watching. Shalom.